nothing but the dog in me.
One must die, chase the cat.
Good evening and welcome to Posse Presents. Another year older tonight. My birthday was last weekend, and if you were watching last week, we did the birthday dog show, and we're going to revisit some of that in a minute. But what I want to do is send a very special shout out tonight. I hope she's watching. I spoke to her earlier tonight or this afternoon. I had the most wonderful neighbor for a number of years, and you know, all good things come to an end, and she moved away, and I haven't seen her in like 3 years, and she's up here visiting, so we have a plan to get together, and I am over the moon excited. You know, I'm not the best person at keeping in touch. I'm like my little hermit in my own little world, and if you're not on Facebook or on the computer, then like I don't ever really know what you're doing, or you don't know what I'm doing, and I hate being on the phone and whatever. But we have kept in touch the best that I am able to. And my neighbor Martha and her husband Fred and their little dog Bella too are here visiting. And you know, they're like those really special people. When I first moved into my house, there were crazies there for the first, you know, year or so, and it was like, oh great. But then they moved in, and it was like they made me one of their own. They you know, loved me, I loved them. You know, fed me royally, which, you know, hey, nobody makes better rice and beans than Martha and her crew. But hopefully she's watching tonight, because we talked about it. So, you know, I can't wait to see you, Martha. I love you and I've missed you. And, you know, she's got these great sisters, Carmen and Gloria, and her brother Nando. I mean, it's just like the most wonderful family. They truly made me like their own. And, you know, there's nothing like that. Now I've got an idiot living next door. And I'm not ashamed to say it. But, you know, I certainly miss her on a lot of levels. And, you know, just the friendship thing is just wonderful. So if you guys are watching, hi! Can't wait to see you. Anyway, so as I was saying, last weekend we had Kristen and Leo on. And I got Leo slimed at the end of the show. It was awesome. I swear I'm going to take that one little piece of that show and put it out on Facebook as like, you know, a vicious pit bull attack. I mean, he literally had me pinned to the couch, licking my face. It was, you know, it was glorious. Usually it's you getting slimed.
Yeah, I was in there.
But you were in the booth last week. So, you know, I got all the glory and it was great. I loved it. But I'd like to revisit the birthday dogs, and you know, of course I have it on a long piece of paper. So Zach, let's bring up Brooklyn, because Brooklyn is the first one that I have on the list here, and I'm just going to go through very quickly. You know, Brooklyn's just a little one. She's about 4 years old. She's very sensitive, and she's starting to stress out at the shelter. She's a little shy at first, but she warms up when you show her a little love. She knows some commands, and she's eager to please, and she really needs out of the shelter. You know, a lot of dogs don't do well, and she's one of them. So, you know, especially some dogs just have a very sensitive soul, and, you know, they feel things so deeply that, you know, she's suffering there. So let's get her a home. She's at the Bridgeport Animal Control. The number is there is 203-576-7727. That's 203-576-7727. And, you know, I'm partial to the name Brooklyn. Being the New York City girl, you know, any of those kinds of names, like, thrill me. Someday I'm going to have a house full of animals with names like Brooklyn and Hudson, and, you know, there was, remember that cartoon Gargoyles years ago? They had, like, all those names, Brooklyn and Hudson and Broadway and, you know, whatever. I grouped on that, but, you know, that's just a little side. Anyway, so let us have a look at Diesel. I got a better picture of Diesel this week. Last week the picture was just a little too wide to see his face, which was kind of sad. But Diesel rather is a really, really sweet dog. He spent 10 years in the same home, and he's not adjusting to life behind bars. To make matters worse, Diesel had a housemate, a little dachshund, who he seems to be searching for. It's presumed that the family kept the little dog while, dumping Diesel like garbage. He's had no real interest in playing and very little interest in eating, and the poor guy just needs a place to call home to lift his spirits and make his life feel worth living again. It's hard. I can't imagine, a dog being in a home for 10 years and all of a sudden finding himself, out in a shelter. I mean, there's just, how must that dog feel? They don't understand. You can't explain to them. Looking for his little housemate, that's got to be a horrible, horrible thing. I mean, it's like a sibling. It's like a breakup. It's that and so much more. So anyway, Diesel is in the Yonkers Animal Shelter, and the contact number that they gave is 201-981-3215. That's 201-981-3215. Or you can email lesliem147@gmail.com. That's Leslie, Lesliem 147@gmail.com. And, it just breaks my heart, especially the older dogs. Any dog that ends up, dumped, which is really all it is. It's got to be so confusing for them. So we're going to move on to the 3 dogs that were in New Haven that I picked. The good news is that Carrie was adopted. So that's 1 down, and that was awesome news. We're going to take a look at Nila. And Nila has been at the New Haven Animal Shelter for almost a year. She's 3 years old, and she's sweet as they come. She's playful and energetic. She knows several commands. She likes some dogs, but not cats. And she's now considered urgent, so, there's no time to waste. Once it's pronounced that they're urgent, the pressure's on. They've been there for a while, whether they're still doing well or not, if they're deteriorating, it's, how fair is it to keep a dog forever behind bars, There are some places like Yonkers that will keep them for years and years, but, the municipal shelters, that's a really tough call. That's a really hard thing. If a dog starts not to do well, what do you do? If no one will step up, if no rescue will step up to put it in a foster home, if no person wants to adopt it, what do you do? I mean, I'm not in favor of putting any animal down, but, that's the ultimate price that they pay for sitting there not being adopted. And it's shameful. It really is. So the more people that can get involved in foster and adopt and help these dogs out, the less of these dogs that are going to meet the fate that the laws have put into place for them. So the next dog we have is Anora. Let's have a little look at Anora. And she's another urgent dog in New Haven. She's been at the shelter almost as long as Nila. She's 8 years old, laid back, enjoys snuggling and being loved. She's happy, affectionate, and she's a senior. Come on, she's another one like Diesel. Spent, 8 years somewhere, and now she's out in the street, basically. She deserves for the rest of her life to be the best of her life. She gets along with some dogs and would be suited to a home without small children, as they prove to be a bit much for her. Now, that's not a crime either. Some of these dogs don't like cats. Some of these dogs don't like every other dog. I don't like most people, so why should a dog have to like every other dog? It's you want to talk about socialization and this and that and everything. I'm very well socialized. I just don't like you. I'm not shy to say that. I prefer the company of animals to the company of people. I've got great people skills. You'd never know that, I just I'm not a people person. So again, why does a dog have to really, you don't know what that dog's experience is in its life. It may have not had good experiences with other dogs. It may just feel like me, that it wants to be the only one in the world. I can relate to that. And, cats, that's about, prey drive, some of it. And different dogs have different levels of prey drive. it's not a crime. You have to manage it. It's not the end of the world. And the whole bit with kids, sometimes you say that a dog shouldn't be around kids under a certain age because the kid could get hurt. And you know what happens then. A kid gets knocked over, a kid gets trampled, a kid gets nipped at. It's always the dog's fault. It's always the dog's fault. If a dog play bites, oh, the dog attacked my kid, and it's always the dog's fault. Well, there's just sometimes too much energy with the dog for a small kid. It's going to happen, Kids like to pull and poke and prod and, hang on. It's not the dog's fault when that goes on. So you minimize the opportunity for tragedy to happen if the kids are older, calmer, more disciplined, understand what it's like to have a dog. It makes the most sense to me. I don't see what the problem is. So you really have to measure it out and, again, pick the right dog for your family. Don't just run down and get a dog because it's an urgent dog. But in the end, it's the dog that pays the price if you guys don't listen to the guidelines that are set up for you. Anyway, I'm on a rant, aren't I? So if you want to find more out about Nila or Anura, they're at the New Haven Animal Shelter, and that's 203-946-8110. That's 203-946-8110. So the last birthday dog that had actually been designated a birthday dog is Lucky. And Lucky's no stranger to the show or to my column. He's been shown on the show here before, and he's been written about in my column before. He's a handsome boy, and he's been bounced around a lot in his 6 years. He needs a stable home with an understanding, strong leader who will set boundaries and teach him. He's a very smart boy. He needs to learn the ways of the world. And Lucky is one of those niche adoptions. He needs to be the only pet in the home. Kind of like me. I need to be the only one there. Adopt me. But anyway, he must be the only pet in the home. And that means the only pet in the home. That doesn't mean, but I have, or, my boyfriend brings over, or, no, it doesn't, no. This is not a dog you're going to want to take to the dog park because you're going to have a problem. He's not a dog you want to go take to events because there's going to be a problem. I mean, he's an awesome, fabulous dog, or Bikers Against Animal Cruelty wouldn't stand behind him the way they do because he is a ward of Bikers Against Animal Cruelty. They wouldn't stand behind him if he wasn't such a wonderful dog. And again, because a dog doesn't want to do the things you think a dog should do, doesn't make it a bad dog. There are people like me, I don't take my dogs to dog parks. I don't like dog parks. That's just my experience. That's just my mentality. It's not a crime. Everybody's got their own lifestyle and their own way of raising kids and dogs. So, if you're just like somebody who wants a dog and can take it, places where there aren't other animals and keep him, if you have a fenced in yard, you can exercise him, no other animals, you don't have those kind of people who come over with their dogs, you're good, you're golden. And there's a home out there for him. There's a home out there just like that for him. There's a home out there for all of these dogs. They all need homes. They're all in different situations. Fortunately, Lucky is not sitting in a shelter. He's in a foster home. But, the foster was trying to move on with Lucky and gave him extra time so he wouldn't bounce around anymore. But, the rest of these dogs are sitting in shelters and, their time is ticking and it's awful. So, the whole deal with these birthday dogs, and I know this is kind of almost the same show as it was last week, but I want these dogs to find homes. I usually put these dogs out there. You can scroll through all of them if you want. Yeah, I know, you're a smart guy. I usually publish my birthday list the month before my birthday. Now, because we didn't do it until just about my birthday wish is that these dogs get homes within the month from my birthday. So, come on people, before the urgency of the New Haven dogs takes over and before August 13th, can we get all these dogs into real homes and safe and sleeping on a bed or a couch at night and not having to, have the clock ticking over their head, that would be wonderful. That's my birthday wish, and I stick by it. So if you guys can share these dogs, there's an article I wrote about them. They're posted on Facebook. You've got all the contacts. Actually, I didn't give you the contacts for Lucky, so let me do this one again. Of course, it's Bikers Against Animal Cruelty, so you can contact them, or you can email jager6303@yahoo.com, jager6303@yahoo.com. And I have to laugh and tell a little funny story about that. When Bikers Against Animal Cruelty was on, and just after that, when I wrote the article in my column about Lucky, Greg said, all right, put my email address as the contact. And he said all of a sudden he started getting all these mad, crazy emails, and he couldn't figure out why. Because you told me to put your email address out there. He goes, oh yeah, that's right. He goes, then I remembered, and whatever. But unfortunately, there's been interest in Lucky. It's just not been, the right situation for him. But that cracked me up because I ran into Greg the other night and he was telling me, yeah, after that article, we were laughing about it. I couldn't figure out why, because you gave me your email address and told me to put it out there. So anyway, these are all the birthday dogs. One more time, Zach, run through all of them. And please, 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 can you get like the other ones up too? There you go. I know you were doing it before, but I'm just trying to move on because whatever. I love that smile on that dog. Isn't she? She just has the most wonderful smile. Imagine waking up to that kissy face every day. And poor Diesel, who's just so sad. That breaks my heart. And Brooklyn, who's like so sad. It's horrible to me that animals just, they don't get it. You know what I mean? You can't. Anyway, talking about heartbreaking, Zach, let's pull up Baxter and Bailey. Baxter and Bailey. No, that's the right one. Yeah, we're good. Hey, I thought I was the one that was stressed out and falling apart tonight because I have so much going on tomorrow. Anyway, these two St. Bernards, Baxter and Bailey, they are brother and sister. They are, spayed and neutered. They're up to date on shots. They're at the Oxford Animal Shelter. And, it's a really sad story. They were an owner surrender. A very, very tough situation. The owner's dying of cancer. Now, I can't imagine. You can scroll through their pictures if you would like. Look at that. Brotherly love. I love that picture. I can't imagine reaching a point in my life where I am not going to be here anymore. I know I'm not going to be here anymore. And my animals need to be taken care of. I can't imagine that. That to me is like a nightmare waiting to happen, and I can't imagine having to send them to a shelter. Now I know that from the posts on Facebook, these two are getting a whole lot of love at the shelter, but it's not the same as being in a home. All of the attention in the world is not the same as being in a home because, they're 3 years old. They were litter mates, so they have spent their whole lives together. Thankfully that they're together now, and truthfully the plan is that they need to stay together, and that's a good thing. But I can't imagine how they must feel, and I can't imagine how their owner must feel. If I were no longer able to take care of my animals and knew that I wasn't going to be here, and I couldn't even find a home for them that I was comfortable with and had to leave it in the hands of somebody, that would destroy me. That would absolutely destroy me. There's so much, we in rescue and we who are animal advocates end up with a lot of malice for the way people dump their dogs and don't care and shamelessly walk away from them and treat them like garbage. But this is not that kind of situation. So my heart does break for that person because I can't imagine how that would feel. And my heart breaks for these dogs who, you know, clearly this person who took them into her life, his or her, I don't know, took them into their home and their life and planned on spending a lifetime with them, and that's cut short. You know, that, you look at all the different sides of things, and it's sad, but the animals always kind of lose, you know. But Baxter and Bailey, there's a lot of posts about them on the Oxford, Friends of the Oxford Animal Shelter page. They're very entertaining. They're, like I said, they're getting a lot of entertainment and a lot of attention. Gosh, I am losing it. And it's a good thing. They're out there. They're being posted. They're getting love and you know, free time and stuff. But it's not the same. They are looking for someone who gets the breed, and preferably in Connecticut. The Oxford phone number is 203-881-3653. That's 203-881-3653. Now, another dog that I find absolutely stunning is Nelson. He is stunning perfection. Zach, if we could see Nelson. I'm on it. Look at that face. He is just, there is something there for me. I mean, I could just stare at him and stare into that face and, you know, kiss him and love him and hug him.
Or does the eyes say something?
Yeah, don't the eyes just get you? Apparently, Nelson was a frequent flyer at Meriden Animal Control, is how they have him. His owner used to let him loose and used to have to come for him. I guess he got picked up a number of times for being, you know, a roaming dog. Unfortunately, this time his people did not come for him. So, how do you do that? You know, what, were you tired of your dog running around? Now you didn't come for him? Whose fault was it he was running around? See, here I go getting all like judgmental and stuff. But now your dog is sitting at the pound and you won't come for him. How do you do that? Did you never care about him? I mean, he looks like he's in great shape, so he had to have been cared for. I don't know whatever could have changed in their situation, but he is just, to me, that's stunning perfection. Those are my words for him. If I could, I'd probably go scoop him up in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know, and there he is having a little fun out in the pool. But look at him. He's just gorgeous. I am so in love with this dog. It's tempting just to go meet him, but I know what would happen. I'd want to take him home. Anyway, so he is at Meriden Animal Control, and if you're interested in Nelson, the number at Meriden Animal Control is 203-235-4179. That's 203-435-4179. Now, I will take the camera back for a hot second, Zach, because we've got a few minutes. One of the reasons why I am so distracted and losing my mind tonight is tomorrow's the big day. I have talked about it for weeks. The annual car show and now / bake sale that's going on tomorrow in Southington at Pet Playhouse. It's going to be a great event. There's always a ton of cars, a ton of vendors. It's kind of going to be like a who's who, a Pound Posse presents who's who, because we're going to have Bikers Against Animal Cruelty. We're going to have Sue Torres, who was just here with her book, Loyalty Unleashed, Pit Bulls and the People Who Love Them. We're going to have Wolf Central. My biggest and best announcement, I'm sorry, is, can we get the pictures up, Zach? We are going to have Juno of Juno's Place and Bert of Bert's Brigade. Juno was on the show, and she has her little boyfriend Bert that she hangs around with and makes appearances with and does not just appearances. I mean, they do stuff for charity and they do stuff for good. And so I don't want to make it sound like this is like just a celebrity appearance. They are there on a mission. So Juno and Bert will be at the bake sale car show thing tomorrow. And that just excites me to no end. This thing is at Pet Playhouse in Southington. It's 3 to 6 p.m. Come on down, meet Juno and Bert, check them out, check out everything else that's going on. There's 2 other pictures that go with the Juno and Bert announcement. So if you can pull those up so we can all, there is Juno in one of her cars. She is, I don't know which car she's bringing, but she is bringing a car to the car show because it's a car show. I think she plans on hanging out with the Bikers Against Animal Cruelty bunch. She's bringing her motorcycle. And you can see she's got her little helmet and her goggles and she's ready to roll. And on the flip side, Bert, if you'll bring that one up, they got their allowance and they're excited for the bake sale. So that's Bert in the middle. He's a Chinese crested, and he is my dream dog. And his brothers Thomas and Wyatt, they will be there. And unfortunately, you know, it's a no pets allowed situation because of the cars, but these guys aren't going to be like, you know, roaming around and creating havoc much. We know that Juno and Bert have a way of getting in trouble, and I just can't wait to see what trouble they're going to be getting in tomorrow. If I can take the camera back, Zach, I just want to say that I am so thrilled and thankful to all the people who have already baked for the bake sale and who are baking for the bake sale. I'm running with my best friend forever, Sarah, this bake sale like we used to do years ago for the animal shelter that we were with. And it kind of feels good to be back in the saddle, but it's like, you know, a lot of stress, a lot of work, and it's doing well. People who have been so generous with their time and their efforts for baking. Dawn Medina, thank you very much. You did a nice job on those cupcakes. I got my own private stock and they were yummy. And she dropped them off at my house, and I can't thank you enough for that. That saved me the running around. But I also have to thank Renee DeNino from the River 105 because I asked her, hey, can you give this event a quick shout out? And in no time flat, she had it out on all 8 of their radio stations and the corresponding websites. So to Renee DeNino and her assistant, Sandy DeSalvo, that was more than I ever could have asked for. That was just amazing of you. So I'm going to say peace, love, and dogs. Until next week. Hope to see you tomorrow at the event. It'll be a great time. If you come, stop by and say hi. I will be at the bake sale table and trying not to get fat. Good night, everybody.